Board meeting to order, please.
Yeah.
Good to go? We're gonna start with the pledge led by Councilmember Duson.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Dave. Crystalline, can you please confirm that the meeting was properly advertised?
Yes, it was.
Awesome. There is a binder, I believe, over there. If anybody would like to look at the written communications that came to the town, correspondence. Which brings us to our first privilege of the floor. Oh, that's part of the, is it properly open? Thank you, Terry. Can you call the roll? Thanks, Terry.
Councilmember John Casey,
Present.
Councilmember Terrence Fennelly,
Present.
Councilmember Adeline Rudolph,
Present.
Councilmember David Sauter,
Present.
Supervisor Jared Simpson is necessarily
Yeah,
absent.
Jared is necessarily absent. He's at a conference in Albany today. He might be zooming in later at some point, so. But keep our eyes open for him. Thank you, Terry. So now we're coming to the first privilege of the floor. If anybody has anything they'd like to say, there's a 3-minute time for the privilege of the floor. So anybody online or in person have anything they wish to say?
No.
Okay.
Ready? To the floor. To the floor. I wish the supervisor was present.
Okay.
See that he isn't. I'll put mine on hold if you don't mind.
Of course.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, seeing no hands, we'll move on to the priority business. First priority is celebration of birthdays, so happy birthday to Kim Burkhardt, Terry Fennelly, and Michael Warner are having birthdays this month, so. We do not have any presentations online for tonight. And I believe there are no continued public hearings at this time. We do have a new public hearing on the local law to rezone 2625 County Road 22 from the AR1 zoning district to the mixed use overlay district and to amend the official zoning map of the town of Canandaigua. The resolution coming up on the agenda for tonight. So I'll open that public hearing now. Anybody would like to speak about the rezoning? Online in person? I guess we can probably close the public hearing then if anybody has any comments from the board, questions? No, okay.
Hang on, I got a question. Sarah, did this plan change? Okay.
Sarah is the town planner.
Can you folks hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Thank you, Sarah.
No, I believe everything is still the same. The plan that was included with the attachments is the plan that was adopted by the planning board.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
I have a question, I guess. But I can wait until we get to the resolution.
Whatever your preference, so.
I asked this question of a couple different people, Mike Murphy today, but I read the resolution, I read some correspondence that's been out, and my question is this property in the MUO?
Yes, I believe it is. So
Why would you ask that question? I think would be a good counter question.
Because the language in some of the documents I've seen suggests that we want to change or suggest that the resolution changes the property from being AR1, I think that's what it is, to being a mixed use overlay.
Yes.
So then the question begs the question for me, is it currently in the MUO or are we extending the MUO into
No.
this property?
So I'm assuming that this is,
It's in
that
the,
it falls under the mixed use overlay, which means it's
Yes.
under the stripes.
Is that an assumption or is that a fact?
I don't know, I just don't.
Sarah, do you want to,
But
I don't know if you want
But I don't
to.
think that's, I understand your question. So I'm just
when they're,
predicating it on with that. I'm assuming it's in mixed use overlay district, which makes it eligible for rezoning from your underlying zoning district, AR1, for example, to mixed use overlay.
And I'm comfortable with that if that is in fact accurate. However, all the language I see suggests that we are changing the zoning from AR1 to MUO.
Which is exactly what we would be doing if it's in the mixed use overlay district.
Is it then in fact in the mixed use overlay district?
it's, John, it's an overlay, so as
I
an
understand that.
overlay,
Okay.
they have to apply to be part of the overlay. Even if
Is it-
they're
Is
already
it in the
within that
boundaries
area.
of the mixed use
Let
overlay?
me find out for you, or let me just confirm.
Sarah, do you have the answer to that question?
Yes.
Would you mind enlightening all of us?
Sure. So the town has 3 separate mixed-use overlay zones, growth zones, 1, 2, and 3. And those zones do not mean that every parcel in those zones are automatically zoned as mixed-use overlay. They are within the area that would be eligible to be rezoned with actions such as what you're asked to take tonight. This parcel was within the, if you look at our town zoning map, which I know you don't have in front of you, but we have a dashed line denoting the overlay areas where parcels in those areas are eligible to be rezoned. So this parcel is currently AR1, but this parcel falls in what would be the dashed area on the zoning map that's eligible to become MUO with town board action. So tonight, what you're being asked to do is exactly what you said, John. Change the zoning district for this parcel from AR1 to the MUO. It is in the, I know the wording is a little confusing, but what's written is what you're being asked to do. You're taking it from AR1 and putting it into MUO, changing the entire zoning district of this parcel. It's in the overlay area, but it was never rezoned.
Thank you, you answered my question.
It's
Okay.
more
It is
of
it is in the overlay area.
MUO3. It's more invoking MUO than moving to. I mean, it's a confusing thing, but that overlay, everything under it retains its own identity zoning wise unless you take this action, so. Confusing.
Thank you, Sarah. Any other discussion from the public or the board? Okay, at this time, I call the hearing closed. Moving on to reports of town officials and department heads. Jim, highway water, any fabulous new information you want to share?
For saving money not plowing.
Yeah.
How long does salt last? Is it gonna last us a couple extra years?
Next few years, you never know.
Yeah. Okay, I don't know if we have our assessor online. I do not see the assessor there. Do not see this. Dorian, town clerk, any report?
Actually, yes, I wanted to say that our office is still collecting county and town tax payments until April 1st. And we have also received several applications for the open deputy clerk position, and we'll be going through them this week. And hopefully have somebody on board in March.
Great.
Sarah, did you want to share any further comments? You did that. We can hear
My
you now.
planner- Okay, sorry. My planner report this month has 2. It's got the 2023 annual report as well as the January monthly report. I just wanted to note that in that annual report, we took in 135 planning and zoning applications last year. So that's things like site plan applications, variance applications, and so forth. And then for our short-term rentals, which we track separately, I wanted to note that there's a typo on my report. Last year, we implemented our cloud permit, and the short-term rental applications were not in cloud permit until about May. May or June. So we had, prior to cloud permit, we had 24 short-term rental permit applications come through. And then in cloud permit with our new reporting system after that, we had another 21. So instead of 25, that should read that there were 45 short-term rental permit applications issued last year in 2023. And in January, I think we got another 4 already.
Thanks for the correction, Sarah. Also, I wanted to make sure the town board observed that Sarah also put in the open space protection policy in the attachments in attachment 1, which was a good read through as well. So I'm glad that the open space is moving forward, so.
Yeah, and part of my annual report was, since I'm on that project team, we just wanted to make sure the board was aware of what we did last year. It wasn't very busy for the open space team because of all the transition that we had in town hall, so we didn't get to spend very much time on it. But they did stay busy. They did a couple things, made a nice informational flyer with information we already have, just kind of made it into something more visually appealing that we can share with the public. And then, yeah, Adeline, as you know, the group was working on an idea for a policy, which more, I guess it kind of just lays out in a procedural format the steps that the town board already takes when you're interested in purchasing a property to protect it or turn it into a park, like we did with the Ononda addition and with the parcel next to McJanet before that. So it's available, and the open space project team is just looking for some feedback and some direction from the town board. They're an eager group, they're passionate, and they're ready to help. They just don't want to go too far on their own without feedback and some suggestions and direction from the board. So yes, that was included as part of my report. I think it's under the communications section.
Yeah, it's part of attachment 1 in our agendas. Okay, thanks, Sarah.
Thank you.
Lindsay, did you have any thoughts you wanted to share?
No, absolutely.
The supervisor has his report in the attachment, also includes the fund balances as well, are in that attachment too. It says overtime report, highway and water, anything special, Jim, or that's just always there?
Just
Okay.
always there.
Okay, great. No further report from the finance committee at this time. Terry, planning public works, did you want to share anything?
We had a meeting on February 9th. It was the last meeting. We'll have another one a week from this Friday. Devin Mulvaney made a good presentation. We were all there, town board members were there, regarding almost flooding incident we had with that rain we had a few weeks ago. And outlined a few other areas that are gonna need some protection, which be gradually worked on. I think none of them really involve a lot of money as we saw it. We're pushing dirt around to create some berms, so over around it, where the outhouse property comes down to Happiness House. Let's see what else. We discussed the fire station and the work that's going on there, and need to do some ventilation work, which there's a resolution in here in the agenda tonight. Let's see, what else did we do? This is for your benefit, not necessarily for ours, but we were there. So we do also have the WIA proposal from MRB that we'll be acting on tonight, that we'll have to jump on fairly quickly in order to get everything done. It has to be done by a submission date in July, so that's about it, I guess, really.
Okay,
Done.
thanks, Terry. Dave, ordinance and reports?
Still working on short-term rentals. That is an ongoing process. We have a meeting on March the 4th, 9 AM. I know there's a bit of public interest in the meeting, so we'll make sure that that's well posted and people are aware of the timing and get input into it.
I believe there's a updated proposed local
Right,
law.
right.
I don't know if the town planner circulated yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Just planned on doing it.
I haven't seen it yet.
So we'll have it.
Yeah.
There is something available though.
Yes,
Awesome.
And you're gonna be distributing it yourself?
Sarah, town planner will be distributing.
When?
Very, very soon.
sometime before
Tomorrow.
Monday.
No, I'm assuming tomorrow. If not,
Wednesday.
I'll distribute it. If it's not there tomorrow by noon, I will distribute.
Sarah, you're welcome to speak if you wish to.
Yes, I had planned to do it today. I will do it tomorrow. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thanks, Sarah. Okay. Just a heads up, to make sure everybody's aware too, we, at the March 11th meeting, the town board's asking for reports from the Environmental Conservation Board and the tree team as well, so we'll look forward to that. Which brings us to our next privilege of the floor, if anybody would like to speak. Online or in person? Am I missing anyone? All right, seeing no hands, moving on to the resolutions and motions. First resolution is resolution number 57, acceptance of the monthly financial reports. Can I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? But I'm on. Okay, resolution number 58, acknowledgement and authorization of budget transfer by town supervisor.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Resolution number 15, or motion carries, I should say motion carries, sorry. Resolution number 59, authorization for the town supervisor to execute a multi-year agreement for independent audit services for the town court, town clerk, and regulatory audit of the town of Canandaigua.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Resolution number 60, accepting proposal from Tyler Technologies for and authorization for town supervisor to execute the agreement.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Resolution number 61, acknowledgement of the annual transfer station report.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And line number 62 can be
Postpone indefinitely.
indefinitely, please, until we can get after Chris's comments will be clear.
Thank you. I was
Okay.
gonna ask about that because I noticed
So,
your comments in
He's
it.
gonna speak with the county's attorney and a few of the words.
So do we want to carry that over to next month?
No,
No.
I don't think the town is gonna need to sign a lease agreement. I think we can do it. Or if not this lease agreement, I think this lease agreement should be with the city and the county, and the town should have maybe a separate agreement.
Okay,
And I'll work something out with the county attorney.
so would you like us to postpone it indefinitely
I think
or?
that's a good idea.
Yes.
Okay, can I get a motion to do that?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries to postpone indefinitely. Okay. Resolution number 63, accepting proposal from MRB Group for the professional services for mechanical and electrical engineering design of the vehicle exhaust extraction system.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? This is at Fire Station 2, correct?
Yes.
And this was because we needed a higher level of
Well-
knowledge on the exhaust, on the electrical system?
Yes, because we don't know what we have will currently suffice with a higher panel.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Resolution number 64, accepting proposal from MRB Group for professional services for the Canandaigua Consolidated Water System Improvement Project WIA grant application.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Resolution number 65, acceptance of the Robbie Engineering and Land Surveying PC proposal for the Seneca Point Road Culvert Replacement Project and authorization for town supervisor to execute the agreement.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion?
Is it?
Yeah, I have discussion
Okay,
too.
go ahead.
So we'll take some turns. Go ahead, John.
I guess my first question is, did we go out and get competitive bids for this?
No, We are not necessarily allowed to, John. The
Say
state
that
of New
again?
York, the state of New York has pre-qualified engineers who we have to use by vetting them out. Right, interviewing them and come up with a score.
So you're awarding based on best value,
We're awarding on best value for the project, correct?
so did we go out and get pricing and proposals from other engineering firms?
Again, it's like couldn't do that because we already told the engineering firms we're going to use.
But there's a list of them, right?
Yes, there were. Yes,
So isn't it prudent to go out and get proposals from?
we did, we got 3 proposals.
Okay. that's
Okay,
what
I'm sorry,
asking.
I was missing that. We got Robbie Hunt and
Can't remember the third one was. It wasn't E and A.
no, it was Martin Latujas.
Oh, yeah, Bartlett.
Martin Latujas.
And I guess my follow-up question would be, there's no data or information in our package that tells us that information. And I'd like to see that before I go and authorize us spending $533,000. That's my,
That number also comes from the state, which you're gonna spend. That's not something we're able to dictate. You are gonna spend X percentage of this project on each line. It's not something we can negotiate.
so what I'm hearing you say then is all 3 of the proposers submitted the same value for the services?
Yes, no, some has stronger suit points, like Rock Engineering, the person we're working with, he worked for the state for 30 years doing these projects. So he become very well versed in how to do the paper for us,
Okay.
how to submit
Jim,
applications.
I'm sorry, could you just speak up a little bit?
Yes, how to speak applications. Other firms did not necessarily have that level of experience, or I'll say. Experience is like, for a better term, to do the project. I felt it was in Robbie's best interest for the town to get anyone to do the project for us.
I guess I'd still like to see that summary that
Email to
outlines the pluses and the minuses for each potential vendor that was being used. And just for conversation purposes, I am not so comfortable voting on this until I see that analysis. And it's a lot of money for us to be spending, and I know we have to do the work, but I'd just like to see the analysis that was used to make this recommendation to us.
But the number's
So
gonna
we-
remain the same no matter who we choose,
right,
right?
and I did provide that back when we first approved, we had documentation. I believe with the resolution of the scores.
So
Is that at the committee? Then, or was that?
Well, we would talk about that public works committee also.
But it was here.
It was here also, because we approved Robbie to go forward, and they gave us this proposal. At the end to sign after the agreement was worked out on the cost.
So was the analysis for this particular project? Right, I apologize, but I don't recall seeing that analysis.
Like I said, I can email to them. So.
Would just make me feel more comfortable.
I'm also just a little confused on it. So the state says this is the amount that of the grant that's gonna go towards engineering. They just give you a number.
It's a percentage of each portion of the contract per the amount of the award.
Okay,
So that was 2.1 million, right, roughly?
Yeah, was the.
So of that 2.1 million, let's say 8% is survey, 12% is engineering. 5% is doing your paperwork for women-based, minority-based organizations.
Okay.
Those people have to search that out.
okay,
These numbers are not for us
yeah.
to
To-
say yea or nay.
I was just surprised
So-
because it was so high. I mean, it
It is so
it's a
high.
$500,000 of a $1.5 million
It is.
grant.
It's, I completely agree with every one of you, but
But that's kind of the norm then for this, for when you're
For
working with the
this
state
grant,
regulated grant. Okay,
it's not something we can tell the state, well, we're not gonna pay them.
So the number's the number,
The numbers, the
no matter
numbers.
what we do.
I heard you mention 2.1 million.
Yep.
That is an engineer's estimate.
Yes, that we got from MRB last year. We did it.
I remember that.
We got 1.5 million for this project.
So if the value of the bids come in higher or lower than the 2.1, is the 533 adjusted up or down also?
No, that's just part of the grant. That basically that grant's gonna pay for that portion of it. You're gonna get basically reimbursed by the time you spend that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the 533 was in the paperwork we submitted to the state.
No.
Recognizing the engineering costs as part of the submission for the grant.
Almost, so the total cost of the project, let's say 2.1.
Yeah.
A portion of that is that 500 some odd thousand
533.
for the engineering portion of this project.
Right. So,
When you get the breakdown of each
yes.
percentage. Yes, it's complicated.
Well, it
This
helps
is
me
not a
understand a little
normal-
bit better.
This is not a normal proposal that we've received in the past from any engineering firm.
Well, that helps me understand. So in essence, what we're saying, we submitted an application for a grant identifying 2.1 in construction and administrative cost, which included $533,000 for Robbie. And that was dictated by the state in terms of how much the construction costs were, how much they'd get paid. Or not construction costs, let me say that. Engineering, different engineering services were based as a cost of percentage. Based on a percentage cost of construction.
Correct.
533 was not a number that we picked.
No.
That's the state.
2.1 million.
Right.
The state said out of that, you can use 12% goes for survey, 8% goes here. I mean, that number is whatever the
State
total has
says.
been, those percentages would be the same.
Correct.
Because the state is picking and choosing winners.
Yeah, in a sense. They
And how much they
vetted their
Right.
engineers.
So I understand that. It's been very helpful. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let me just ask one more question or a follow-up now. When we go out and bid the project, there's approximately 1.6 of construction costs. I'm sure there's some contingency in there also. If the bids come in over, we're responsible for the overage.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, because
If the bids come in less than, do we still get the same amount of grant from the state, or does that
we still get 1.5
from the state
From the
regardless?
state regardless.
Thank you.
The town of Kennedago will front the 1.5 million for each payment. From there, Robbie will submit the application to the state for the town to be reimbursed up to 1.5 million.
Thank you. You made it.
But at any
I'll be
point,
very
correct me
credit
if I'm wrong, the town doesn't have to pay the overage. You can always opt not to do the work.
Well,
If the bids come in at 5 million.
Yes.
You can decline, you can cancel.
yeah, if it comes at 5 million, we should rethink.
Yeah.
But
I just wanna make that clear.
But we still get the 533, the grant from the state for the engineering
Correct.
costs, so.
This takes it from design up through bidding. And that's 533 covers that.
actually,
It doesn't cover construction administration or any of that stuff, does
No,
it?
it does.
it does,
Does
it covers
Yeah,
construction
The
administration.
reading
way that
through.
proposal's written is really confusing.
Yeah,
was.
it was.
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, because I mean, it doesn't look like any proposal I would write,
No.
right? So, but that format is stipulated by the DOT, so you have like those 9
Mhm.
or whatever articles that they go
Yeah.
through, and they strike stuff out, and they underline this, they bold this, whatever.
Mhm.
But the only thing that really matters is when you get to that last Excel sheet that basically outlines the total project budget for the soft costs, so, but then it does include construction inspection and construction admin, that wasn't.
So I guess in closing, I would say that thank you. You've made this understandable for me and I'm comfortable voting on it. I would ask that in the future, should we have another one of these come before us? I'd just like to see that analysis as part of the package.
You can also bring that to the finance committee sometime too, if you got a big one like this or something.
Email me.
Yeah.
It's a ton of paperwork.
Cherry, Dave, any questions?
No, I'm listening.
Thank
And
you
that,
for
that
your
was most of my
indulgence.
questions too, Sean, so,
No, I
so,
mean, it's a complicated proposal.
well, and it's also, I mean, we're essentially fronting the money until
Yeah.
the grant comes back and pays it back for us, so. So, okay, if we're ready to vote on it then, all in favor of, resolution 65?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Resolution number 66, request to surplus a Ford F-250 number 208.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Resolution number 67, seeker determination of non-significance and adopting a local law to rezone 2625 County Road 22 from AR1 to MUO and to amend the official zoning map.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
I had a question regarding the seeker itself. There's a environmental assessment form. Part one here, it talks. When you go down through the things, get to the planning and zoning section. It says, well, administrative or legislative adoption of this plan. Plan law or the approval regulation. Be the only approval which must be granted, we say yes. If you say yes, then you have to enter section C, F, and G, which haven't been filled out on the form. And up front, it tells you that if you answer yes to anything in section C, then you must fill out. It doesn't change the outcome at all. But, I mean, it's just something that has to be filled out. I don't know when these are submitted, if anyone actually looks at them and that. The questions that are asked are relatively easy to answer. And F and G are just saying, you did this right. In essence, so it just seems, I don't know, Sarah's still there.
She is.
I don't know who filled this out actually, but it's been a long time since I did one, but maybe.
Sarah, not to put you on the hot seat, but if you have a comment, feel free to share.
Sure. I don't remember what page it is, so I can't look at it with you unless you tell me real quick. But
It's attachment 11. I don't know if that helps you. It's,
Attachment 11,
No.
page 2.
but,
I just meant what page of the agenda. But at any rate, we received some guidance from our town engineer recently on secret procedures for local laws. We had previously been doing the short form with these. And we recently have been told we need to do the long form with local laws. Has to do with what type of seeker it is. So we switched. And so it's somewhat of an unfamiliar process, but my understanding is if it's only a local law or a plan, you skip and you go down just to finish that last section. So I can reach out to the town engineer and just make sure we are in fact doing it right. And if it needs to be changed for this, we can certainly create a new form before it's signed.
Okay,
Yeah, I think you're using the right form. I think a box got missed and you'll have to reach out to the applicant, get them to refill it in and re-sign it. I'm comfortable with, like, Terry, like you said, that it doesn't change the practical impact of the matter.
For this, it's not the applicant, it's us. This is the seeker
yeah.
for the local law process. The applicant filled out a seeker for the actual project itself with the planning board, but that's not what this document is.
hang on a sec. I think Chris is just gonna, are you reviewing it before you want us to vote on it or?
No, I'm gonna have this done by the end of this meeting. You can go vote.
you can have it done in about a minute.
Yeah, just looking at- I
Check
probably should have
this
just-
box here, so, okay.
Now we have no problem.
He
proving
charges by the
resolution.
30-second mark though, so.
I'm already on the clock, man. It's great. You can
Okay.
adopt it if you're comfortable.
Okay, if everyone's, any other questions?
No, I'm good.
If everyone's comfortable with it, then, can I get a vote on, resolution number 67? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that becomes local law number 3, I'm told by our town clerk. Thank you. Okay, the next resolution on the agenda is resolution number 68, acknowledgement of e-waste 2023 annual report.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Resolution number 69, terminating the contract with Property Guard LLC for the short-term rental monitoring services and the authorization of town supervisor to execute the necessary documents.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Resolution number 70, acceptance of the Granicus host compliance software quote to provide short-term rental monitoring services and authorization of the town supervisor to execute the documents.
So moved.
Any discussion?
I have one question.
Sure.
I cannot tell if there was a duration noted in this or not.
You mean the length of the contract?
It's annual,
Annual?
Yeah,
yes.
we'll continue for 12 months. It's on the second page of it then. It says page 1 of 6 down at the bottom.
In the resolution, it says annual in the last.
Yeah.
Should we note that in the resolution?
Is
That it's annual?
It does indicate it already. in
On
the
the now
resolution.
therefore be it resolved.
For annual short term.
It says annual, it says after January 23rd, 2024, for annual short-term rental monitoring services
Okay.
at a cost not to exceed 96.
Who seconded?
Who seconded the motion?
I think very.
Is it Terry and Dave?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
No.
Any other board member comments, questions? Jared and I were able to meet with the Granicus folks. And they showed us a little bit about their how the software will work when we were down at the conference this week in Albany. And I think we're gonna be a lot happier with it. So good choice, Sarah. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Resolution number 71, update to the town of Canandaigua's organizational chart.
So moved.
Any discussion? I think it looked great, Lindsay. Great job trying to get together everything everyone's trying to say.
Great representation.
Yeah. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Resolution number 72, Parks Laborer Pay Adjustment.
So moved.
Second.
All in, any discussion?
I'd like to say that this employee that's been taking exceptional care of highway facility. There's no more mess on the floor, it's dusted, things are clean, it smells clean. They've done better than any service that we've had here. I don't know how Chris Bloom feels about her work over here, but you know, I don't know what she was making before 25, but I think she should be making more than 25 an hour, quite honestly, because she does a great job for keeping up over there with 20 people walking in and out in muddy boots all the time, so. It's, you consider it any more, you should probably take it, so.
I noticed quite a difference at the town hall too.
So-
She's been really great, so.
And at the parks too.
And the parks, exactly, so. I think I'll just, I would prefer to go with whatever Lindsay is recommending from her.
Yeah, no, you're not in charge of that.
I'm not, I'm really sorry.
Come out of his budget.
It's fine. She, as long as she stays,
Yeah, she's wonderful, so. But great, any other discussion on that? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Resolution number 73, part-time planner employment agreement amendment.
So moved.
Any discussion?
I'd just like to say she's worth every penny of this, absolutely. We're lucky to have Sarah with us.
I agree.
Concur.
She also likes to zoom into all the town board meetings and answer random questions. We don't let her know we're gonna
Oh,
ask.
so I don't know if the line is word.
Which is great, so.
Yeah.
Any other comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Resolution number 74, accepting the soil erosion control surety check for 2890 County Road 10, tax map number, whatever that is.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? I have a bit of a question. I don't know if Chris, if you're the one that would answer about
Let's hear the
this.
question and I'll decide if I can.
So both of these are both indicating that if something fails to keep up with our current solar regulations with the soil, or there's contamination or something like that.
No, and I've never scrolled all the way to the end. I don't know what information you get about sureties, because I've already reviewed all that,
Yeah,
as has the engineer. So the soil erosion control surety bond, just guaranteeing, or check, it's just guaranteeing that if they dump a bunch of, if it's flood,
Yeah.
there's a ton of water and they didn't do their stuff, the town can go fix it
it's just the
and
erosion.
take their money. Now, on the solar, which is the dual road. with Blue Star.
No, it's solar and
Okay,
County Road 10.
County Road
They're
10.
both County Road 10.
Oh, so that is what it is for the solar, and then the other one is their decommissioning bond, meaning that,
If
eventually
it's
these
damaged
things-
when they decommission, okay.
well, eventually these things wear out
Yeah.
and don't have useful life anymore.
Yep.
And apparently, solar companies all over the country were just leaving them there.
Yes,
On people's lovely farmland. And the farmers would say, wait, I can't take this out, it costs,
Yep.
$200,000. So what we did and what everyone does is have your engineers decide, it costs this much to take it out, get this much back in scrap, metal payments. And the rest of it, they gotta post a bond, so that bond lasts.
that's what I was gonna
Correct.
ask about the bond, okay. Okay,
And you've got a solar one and you've got soil erosion and decommissioning, as well as a cell tower.
okay,
As long as we're on the topic. Well, the next one is a decommission.
yeah, that's basically both of them I was
So
gonna
we could
talk
wait till
about.
then, or I could ask the question now.
Well, you got a lawyer on there who needs to be out of here by 7, so if we can get the blue sky one.
Well, no, my question is just that in the packet we got, it shows, I can't remember the company that's underwriting the bond, but it was from February 10th of this year, February 10th of next year.
Yeah.
They also show a schedule going out decades into the future of an increasing, cost to decommission. That bond is only good for a year.
No,
What happens, they come back in next year with a new one, is that?
That's what I was wanting to, yeah.
honestly, I don't remember the answer to
And
that,
Patrick,
sometimes it's
19.
that, the decommissioning bonds are generally permanent.
I mean, it's not something that indexes up in and of itself from what was in our packet.
Does it auto renew, Chris? And just,
That's what I was wondering.
increases each year for,
Well, the amount, usually they're paid up front, and then they last until they're needed. And they include, our engineers come up with a calculation. That factors in the annual increase. Jared, you wanna explain which Blue Skies is, cause I don't have it in front of me.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Wow, a Verizon cell tower.
Wow, that was not intentional, honestly. Yeah, so the bond, the bond is of its terms and they are required, we are required to provide you with that amount that the town attorney provided. And I believe that they are required to provide you with the proof of the bond on an annual basis of that. But again, it shows how much they're bonding.
Yeah, it shows 797,000. It starts out at 410,000 and change.
Oh,
In
yeah,
the first year. Then it
Yeah.
ratchets up. It's-
so this one was particular. Because some of the standard terms didn't work. And so the planning board brought it back at Mr. Lutz's request. And said, okay, but come in and show us proof every year. Or every 3 years, so this one will be renewed. And if it isn't, then they're in violation of their special use permit from the planning board. So that's actually the mechanism of enforcement on this particular bond.
So they're renewing the bond or we're?
They have to show, Crystalline will have an annual calendar and say, oh, they're about to expire. They'll have to come in and say, hey, here's a new bond. And it's 10% more than
Last year.
It's
a 30-year.
It's every 5 years, it goes up 10%.
Oh, there you go.
Every 30 years. It's good for 30 years.
guess that also, it's got nothing to do with the resolution, but taking these things down after 25, 30 years, I thought these were gonna be, this is what we have to do forever.
What?
They're on there.
Energy.
Until they take it down. This.
Yeah, but if they take it down, then you're losing supply of power. You know, not gonna get into the argument of, is this right?
So
Well,
I'm not-
towers, I've been doing this for over 20 years, towers, and we don't take them down yet. So you know.
Yeah.
He's asking about solar.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, folks. Yep.
Sorry, we got one beach on right now. Terry, my guess is, and I don't know, I'm not an energy expert. And I'm certainly not an expert on what's gonna happen 30 years from now. But my guess is all the concerns about decommissioning, like Jared just said about cell towers, which used to have the reputation of having the exact same problem that solar panels did. They lose their useful life, and people who operate them, which isn't Verizon, it's, you know, a tenant company of a lease of a subsidiary of a, they don't have the capital to just keep them going indefinitely, but I think technology is advancing to a point where they're not abandoning these. They'll upgrade panels or, you know, that's my guess. I'm your lawyer, but I've done enough of these that my guess is they last longer now and are worth upgrading.
Well, you'd think, if we're supposed to make this transition. Once you transition, you stay with it and keep going. You replace panels as they wear out.
I think that's what will happen. I think that site infrastructure on solar is so much more now than it was 20 years ago. That you're gonna have people replace panels rather than. You know,
Well, also, once the infrastructure's in, to carry that power out, that's
yeah,
a big expense.
Any other comments on resolution
No.
74? Before we get into the entire CLCPA. Okay, can I get a motion to approve resolution 74? I think we did already.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, okay. All in favor?
Right.
Aye. Motion carries. Resolution number 75, decommissioning the surety bond of 2890 County Road 10.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? I think we kind of discussed this with the other one, so. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Resolution number 76, accepting the acceptance of soil erosion control surety bond
So move.
for 4430 Dual Road.
Second.
So it was Terry and Dave. Any discussion on that? All in-
Where is it in Dual Road?
on Dual Road, yeah.
Anyone-
I
I
know
did-
where Mark, Matt Koff lives,
Yeah,
up there, up in that area,
okay. So we'll be able to use our cell phones in Cheshire.
that's correct.
the first
That's the
time.
whole-
Okay, this is the highlight of the entire meeting. If this
Right.
means that our phones will not drop in Cheshire.
I have never been at a planning board meeting for a cell tower or a solar where so many people showed up to say, I just wanted to make sure it's true. I support this.
Like,
wholeheartedly."
do we know when this is happening? So we can all like have like a special event party
Mr.
about
Boss,
this?
Have a grand opening.
my guess is they're gonna start building it tomorrow.
I mean, we would really like to know, do we know
Eric,
when
is
this,
you building it
how long
tomorrow?
will it take?
Well, we have to get Mr. Murphy. He sent us an email to schedule a pre-construction meeting. And that he's waiting on us to get back to him on that schedule, but we are as urgent in this schedule as we can be. I suspect it'll start just as soon as the weather breaks and we can start work. So luckily, we've had what appears to be a light winter, knock on wood. So hopefully we will be able to get started ASAP. Again, Mike Murphy's sent some dates for a pre-construction meeting that is required before we can get a building permit, and I'm people coming in from out of town, so I've got to coordinate that, but we'll get that as soon as we can.
Great.
Blue Sky, Jared and Blue Sky have been very diligent in keeping on this task and making the town realize the urgency.
Yes,
Great.
Crystal Lynn and town staff, I think, have been good at responding.
awesome.
I'm also aware of a potential additional co-locator for another service on the tower, but That's still in preliminary stages, but we can improve coverage for two services in Cheshire with one tower.
Whoa.
Great.
That would be awesome. Anything you can do to help out Cheshire. Okay, all in favor? Aye. I don't think any of us would ever vote nay on getting cell tower service to Cheshire. Motion absolutely carries. Resolution number 77, decommissioning the surety bond for Dual Road.
So move. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Which brings us to the,
I told Mr. Lusk there's no way he would be out of here before 7,
Yes.
and I was wrong.
it's because Jared's out of town.
Yeah.
Just barely.
Didn't get supervisor, you know, from- Yeah.
Approval of the town board meeting minutes. I believe we do not yet have the February 12th meeting minutes. They're still working on them in the clerk's office, so this will just be for the January 31st meeting. Can I get a motion to approve the meeting minutes?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Minutes are approved. Payment of the bills. Special exciting part of the meeting.
Okay. HSA new hire special abstract dated February 6th, 24, totaling $3,250. General fund, $2,500. Highway fund, $750. Utility abstract dated February 15th, 2024, totaling $40,942.80. General fund, $27,270.43. Highway fund, $5,077.17. Capital projects, $1,164.96. Lighting districts, $1,434.53. Water districts, $5,995.71. Town board abstract dated February 26th, 2024, totaling $376,344.78. General fund, $188,120.76. Highway fund, $146,200.80. Capital projects, $20,451.02. Uptown bid, $2,445.50. Water districts, $19,126.70.
Thank you, Crystalline. There's no other business at this time, which brings us to our final privilege of the floor. If anyone would like to be heard. Oh, yeah, we have to vote on payment bill, sorry. So, sorry, Terry, so glad you're here. Can I get a motion to approve the bills?
So move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Bills are paid. So that brings us to the privilege of the floor, so. Any other questions? Privilege of the floor? No. Seeing no hands, that moves us to the executive session. There is an executive session requested by Attorney Nadler to discuss pending litigation.
And it should take 5 minutes and expect no action. Coming out of it,
Did you want anyone else in the room for that?
just the
Just the town board.
town
Okay.
board. And that's
Great. Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody, for coming.